In this video, I'm going to share with you some of the insights I've learned as to why you feel good sometimes, why you feel not so good other times, and why you're never really quite feeling as good as you know you can. And then I'll also share some of the keys and the techniques that I've learned along my journey that have helped me tremendously, that I'm sure will help you feel way better than you currently do throughout most of the experiences in your life. So, jumping into this. So the key foundation that you've got to understand is that where you think you are and where you think you want to be, in the distance you think that is in between the two, this combination of thinking is creating the majority of the suffering that we're experiencing through any moment of our lives. So the closer these 2 points are, the better we will feel. And it's actually the closer we think these 2 points are, the better we will feel. And the key word is think, but we'll come back to that one. So on the larger scale, where we are and where we think we want to be when it applies to jobs or relationships or graduating school or just long-term goals, we realistically know that they're not going to happen today, so it doesn't have that much of an impact on us. However, on the smaller scale of this one, like say urgency or impatience or a lot of the routine things that we do throughout our day, we're constantly applying this. And so where we're thinking and where we're wanting to be, they're never right on top of each other. Like on the urgency part, when you're going throughout your day, like imagine if you're standing in line waiting for groceries and waiting to pay for your groceries so you can get home and cook dinner and then you can get to the couch or get to the TV show or whatever you're wanting to do later this evening. Now, right now, as you think that you're standing in line and waiting, you're creating a ton of resistance inside of you right now because you're wanting to be somewhere else than you actually are. So that's where the impatience and urgency comes from, is we're constantly trying to get where we think we are to where we think we want to be, and we're forcing and we're fighting and we're just grinding against life throughout our day, just push, that tightness and urgency that builds throughout us all day long, which is what most people experience. But that right there, that pattern of behavior, just constantly trying to get to where you want to be, you're never actually where you are. At no point, think about this, how many points throughout your day are you actually where you want to be? Most people, probably the answer is 0. And even now, I've been on this journey for many, many years, and the number's not that high, and I know this stuff. So we're constantly in this battle of where we think we are and where we think we want to be, and we're just trying to force and get to that future point. And that right there is why you never feel as good as you know you can be. It's because of this constant push, this constant just getting to the next thing, trying to get home. So the next time you're standing in a line at a store for anything, whenever you're waiting, recognize this. How about flip it around? I'm right where I want to be. I'm not waiting. I'm not yet where I'm going to be. I know I'm going to get home. I know I'm going to be in traffic. I know it's going to take a certain duration of time to get wherever it is I'm going. But until I get to that point, I don't want to be there until that there is now. But if you can start unwinding these patterns, you will radically change your life. I promise you. I've worked on this for years, and it sounds crazy. This might be the first time a lot of people have ever heard of any of this stuff, but I'm telling you, it works. It works in such an amazing way. So with this foundation in place, now we can start learning the tools and the practices to help us start to get these 2 positions that we're always carrying around. We always have an idea of where we're at or where we think we're at and where we think we want to be. But our work is to try to get these 2 positions as close as possible right now. Because the closer they are in any given moment, the better we feel right now. And this is why you're never quite feeling as good as you know you can, because there's always this distance. We're always trying to get further ahead. We're always rushing, whether it's in traffic, whether we're waiting in line, whether it's dinner's taking too long, whatever the thing is, we're constantly creating these little micro ideas that we want to be further ahead than we are, and that is making us feel like shit right now. Some of you might be putting the pieces together that, you know what, he's right. I go through my day constantly trying to get to the next moment faster. Or I'm constantly wishing that I wasn't where I am, and I'm wishing that I'm constantly up ahead. And that's where the urgency, that's where the impatience, that's where all of the suffering that we're experiencing throughout our day comes from. So our goal, our work on this journey is we start learning these tools. We start paying attention to this activity in our heads that's creating the suffering, creating the urgency. It's creating all of this resistance, and it creates this tightness and this dis-ease and this resistance within our bodies that we walk around with at a moment-to-moment basis. But the thing is, we're so used to feeling it that we don't even know that it's there. Like, most of us are all walking around tied up in knots, completely in a chaotic state inside. But because it's normal, and every day of your life it's gotten a little more familiar, a little more, it's built up gradually, and now it's just your normal feeling. And when you go through this journey and you start practicing these tools, and you make these big shifts and these big aha moments and these big insights, and you get these huge realizations when a big chunk of this resistance falls off, it's truly like waking up. Like, you just realize, I had no clue how much resistance and how much disease and how much suffering I was carrying around with me, and I thought it was normal. So now that we're aware of our patterns of thought activity that are creating the suffering that we're experiencing on a moment-to-moment basis, now we can start using the tools and practicing how to unwind all of this. And the number one thing is mindfulness. You have to be paying attention as often as you can to what you're thinking about and to how you're perceiving the moment you're in. Perfect examples are waiting in line or driving in traffic. Those are the best opportunities to realize when your mind starts creating this, I want to be somewhere else, and you'll immediately recognize the resistance start to build inside of you. You're literally telling your body, I don't want to be where I'm at. How well do you think your body's going to respond when it's like, I don't like where you are, I don't like what you're doing, I wish I was somewhere different? Imagine saying that to your kids. I wish you were different than you are. How well do you think they're going to feel? Not very good. You're doing the same thing to your body in those moments. So, mindfulness, number one, pay attention to how you're experiencing this moment. Pay attention to your thought activity. Pay attention to how you're narrating it. Paying attention to what you're wanting or where you're wanting to be. And recognize while you're in traffic that wanting to be further ahead to already being home, that's making you feel like shit right then. So recognize it, use mindfulness to recognize it and say, you know what? I'm good with being right here. I'm good with however long it takes me. When you're standing in line and you're waiting, tell yourself, you know what? I'm good with where I'm at. I'm good with however long it takes. I know I'm going to get checked out. I know I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to drive home. It's going to take me a certain duration of time. I'm good with however long each one of those little segments take. So when you pick up on these practices and these mindfulness techniques, you're going to notice a tremendous shift in how well you feel throughout your day. Doesn't matter what's happening. You can be going through the same conditions. You might still wait 25 minutes in line, but you're going to feel way freaking better than you would have in past versions of you. So the keys here are to help with this are mindfulness. You got to be mindful. Pay attention to what you're thinking about. Pay attention to how you're narrating this situation. Pay attention to when you're wanting to be somewhere else ahead. It may be super subtle, but I'm telling you, if you're not feeling good right now, you're wanting to be somewhere else than you actually are, and that's not making you feel good. So, second biggest tool, and it's obvious and we hear about it, but it's gratitude. Gratitude is so powerful to help with this, because what happens is when you start to be grateful for where you're at, it lessens this demand for wanting to be somewhere else. And it actually shortens that distance between where you think you are and where you think you want to be. And you'll naturally feel better beyond the benefits of just being grateful for everything you have right now, which we won't get into in this video. So those are the two things that you can start doing now to help unwind these bad patterns of thinking that we all find ourselves into. But it's not until we recognize them, realize that this thinking, this wanting to be somewhere up ahead, is making me feel like shit right now. So what do? Start paying attention to what I'm thinking about. Recognize when you start getting into these situations, when you're getting ready to drive home from work, or when you stop at the store and you're getting ready to get into that checkout line. Recognize that this is your opportunity to practice wanting to be where you are and not caring about how long it takes. Tell yourself, I'm good with however long this happens to take me. Doesn't matter, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour. I will get through this, I will get home, I will get checked out, but I'm not going to sit here in this body and feel like shit because of the way I'm thinking that's just basically wanting to be somewhere other than I'm not. And I'm done with doing that. Tell yourself, I'm done with wanting to be in other places that I'm not currently at. So the new way you operate is I want to be where I'm at, and I'm looking forward to where I'm going to be next. That's how you go throughout your day. I want to be where I'm at. I'm okay with all of the circumstances right now, and I'm looking forward to getting where I'm going to be next. And I'm done with placing demands on life as to how long it's going to take me to get up to that next point. Because those demands are creating suffering within me, and it makes me feel not so good right now. So there's the basics. I'm sure for most people, this will floor you. Like this is a whole new breakthrough, a new way of thinking. You've never even considered that all of this was taking place. It's just become your normal. You're so used to it. That's what you've done. The people that you were raised by, the people around you, everybody else is doing it. So it seems normal. You've never thought anything other. So that's the basic understanding as to why we feel good sometimes, why we don't feel good other times, and why we're never feeling as good as we know we can. And those are your two keys to fix this. Is mindfulness, always be paying attention to what you're thinking about. Pay attention to how you're narrating it, what you're focused on. Recognize when you have this mental activity of wanting to be somewhere else, and be able to catch it and release it and affirm to yourself, I want to be where I am. I'm looking forward to getting where I'm gonna be, but I'm not going to demand how long it's gonna take me to get there. I'm gonna enjoy every little step along the way. So now that we've got the basics out of the way, let's dive deeper into this one and really blow your mind. So, this same teaching, where I think I am, where I think I want to be, and the distance that I think is between the two, recognize the common denominator, thinking. So now when you're in these situations, imagine this. You have no thoughts of the future, no thoughts of the past. You're just where you are. So what happens to these other positions? You've eliminated the idea of where you think you want to be. And you've also eliminated the distance between the two. So now you're just left with where you're at. That's it. You're not thinking about some other position or some other point or somewhere else that you'd rather be. You're just here and now. So now, use your gratitude, use your mindfulness. Look for what's amazing in this situation. What can you be grateful for right now? What can you be thankful for right now? You're just glad to be where you are. You're grateful for all of the things that happen in the day. You're grateful for all the things that are going to happen in the future. You're not placing demands on life as to where else you want to be or how soon you're going to get there. You're now able to just experience whatever it is that you're experiencing. When you get to this stage, Your entire life experience is like nothing you have ever even imagined. You had no clue that this way of living actually existed. And it all starts with recognizing these fundamentals. It's realizing the thinking patterns that are creating your suffering, and then it's using mindfulness and using gratitude and using all these other tools that we have to start unwinding and neutralizing these horrible patterns of thinking. And then we're actually getting close to experiencing what the present moment is. Because in the present moment, your mind, you're not fixated on any other moments beside the one you're in. You're so immersed and you're so blown away with the moment you're experiencing. You wouldn't even entertain the ideas of where else you want to be or where else you want to get to or any of that shit. It all goes away. And you feel amazing right here, right now, over and over and over. And the reason why I wanted just to highlight these deeper parts of this is just to give a lot of you an idea of where you're getting to and what's actually ahead. So if I were able to go back and guide my younger self and tell him what he needed to know to get further faster, this is one of the major things that I would absolutely go back and tell him. So I hope this helps. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're able to start recognizing these things and working on them and feeling way freaking better than you currently do. I promise you, if you do this work, if you do these practices, you will feel literally hundreds of times better than you currently do in the exact same situations. You won't need the new job. You won't need the new car. You won't need the new house. All of that stuff will be great when it happens, but you're good right where you are, always. And that's eventually where you get to. But first, you have to understand the fundamentals of why you're not actually feeling good and quit doing these things that are making you not feel good. And then the doors open up to where you can start feeling really, really good regardless of whatever's happening outside of you. So that's the end of this video. I hope this helps. I know it would have helped a younger version of myself, so I'm sure it's got a ton of value for you wherever you're at on your journey. Please like, subscribe, and share this channel. I've got a ton of great content on the way for you, and good luck digesting all of this one. Do the work, practice it, you'll change your life, I promise you. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.